Welcome back to our series, The 10 Commandments of Better Pet Parents. And today we are talking about the last thing on the list. Number one, better pet parents love unconditionally and are unapologetic about it. So I do just want to tell you guys today, this is the part of the list that cannot be taught. It was really hard for me when I was making this series to come up with number 10 to number one in terms of importance, because there's just been so many important things on the list that it was really hard to try to prioritize. One could argue that they could really be put in any order, but I think it's a no-brainer that number one is the unconditional love. Um, Being in a relationship with an animal that is a truly remarkable relationship where you get to experience how amazing it is, all the lessons that our pets can teach us, being best friends with an animal. Not everybody gets that, and not everybody understands that. Like falling in love, you never understand that until it happens to you. And the human animal bond is like that too. So many of us people who have been crazy about our pets get made fun of by a lot of people who don't understand it. And anybody who doesn't understand it just hasn't experienced it for themselves. So I just want to tell you today that if you're somebody who is crazy about your pet, there are plenty of people who do understand. I'm one of them. I know that if you love your pet unconditionally, you are one of the better pet parents. And I know that if your pet is loved unconditionally by you, your pet is one of the lucky ones. And it was obvious to me that this would be number one on the list of what makes a better pet parent. So just to share a little personal story here, when I was 19, I adopted my dog, and about a month and a half later, I met my future husband, and it was like my whole life clicked into place at that time. And I've been happy ever since. And the two of them made my life worth living. And nobody gets to tell me how to feel about either one of them except for me. And nobody gets to tell you how to feel about any of your loved ones except for you, including your pets. So if you ever get judged by anyone in your family or your friends or people who just don't get it, it's because they don't understand, but you know what your pet means to you. And your pet knows what they mean to you. And you're one of the better pet parents if you feel that way, because like I said, you either feel it or you don't, and it can't be taught. It's just been such a remarkable thing in my own life to have been a pet parent. I know that when I look back on my life, being a pet parent was the journey of a lifetime. It's one of the parts of my life that I always know I'll look back on and I'll say that was one of the things that made me into who I am. It was such an adventure, and it was enlightening throughout. And one of the things I've said about my dog is that getting to love him was one of my life's greatest gifts. Being loved by him was one of my life's greatest honors. So I can't ever say how monumental pet parenthood really is. There's no words for it, but once you experience it for yourself, you do know. And I know that for those of you who have watched the series, who might be watching right now, you understand it. And I want you to celebrate your pets and the unique individuals they are and all the things that they've brought to your life, how they've made your life richer, and just love them unconditionally. Because when we're talking about all the things you can do to be the best pet parent you could be, nothing matters more than the unconditional love. Because in the end, and this is something we talked about last week, a life is measured by how much you loved and were loved, and that's the same for your pet. I know that that's what they all want and need the most. So if you're providing that, I promise you're one of the better ones. And if you're providing that, thank you for being one of the better ones. I believe that better pet parents are making the world a better place, and I want to thank you for being one of them. I would love it this week if you would tell us something about your amazing animal tell us something about what makes them unique or why you love being a pet parent. We'd love to hear about it. And I just want to thank you all for having participated in this series. It's been a lot of different topics that are all very, very important. It's been fun to discuss them all with all of you and to share my thoughts about them with all of you. But like I say, this is what it's all about. So love your pets unconditionally and never say you're sorry. And we'll see you next week for another discussion.